Today we're going to be removing a EGR valve from a 4-cylinder Camry. This is a 1997 Camry. And the EGR valve is right here. The modulator is right here. So for the valve, there is two 12 millimeter bolts on the back side here. Here's a look at one of them. One on the other side of the valve, just like that. Then underneath, right here, there is a 10 millimeter bolt that comes through, so that has to be dropped out. Same on the other side over here. There's going to be a gasket here, and there should be a gasket like right here as well. I've already loosened this one here. So let me show you kind of how we got the wrenches on these. These are not so hard, but underneath here was kind of difficult. We used a small 1/4-inch driver wrench, and I actually brought my hand, instead of bringing it through back here, which you probably could do. I brought it underneath here. Go ahead and take the wrench, and I was able to get all, just about my whole elbow in there almost. At that point, it's a little easier to get the ratchet on here. You can see, maybe you can see. So not a whole lot of room in there. Wasn't that tight, but that is how we got it. And to get the other 10 millimeter bolt from underneath, I just have that same 1/4-inch driver, that small wrench, and I'm actually holding the wrench on with my left hand here, and I'm right underneath the manifold here, the intake. I'm able to just loosen it that way. It's kind of hard to see because it's so tight against the back against the firewall here. And I'm thinking I may be able to, when I get it loosened enough, take the wrench off. May be able to yeah, I can feel the bolt. I don't think I can get it with one hand, but probably with both. But I'll have to loosen it a little more. But that's pretty much how I'm getting to it. Okay, so getting that bottom bolt off the 10 millimeter on the, I guess, passenger side. I've had to reposition my arm because I couldn't get it off with just my finger after it was loosened. And this is another way, I think maybe a little easier. Okay, there. All right, it's off. It's off. Don't want it to drop out. All right. So that bolt is out. So now let's work on this one right here, and that should be a lot easier. That's good. That's good. Keep going. Okay, this one's much easier here. I think maybe I can get it off with my finger here. Nope. kind of tight. I think it has some sealant on it. Probably should have taken the top. Oh, okay, there we go. All right, I believe there's got to be a gasket. All right, for now, we're going to go ahead and get these bolts off, these top ones. I've already got them loosened. I found just about the best position is to slide your arm underneath here. And I'm able to get to just about all the bolts from here. It is awkward, but right now we're working on getting these top bolts that are mounted into the intake here. Okay, I just got the passenger side one off, and it's just a nut, it's not a bolt. And for this side, I don't even need to go in. I don't even need to go underneath, it's right here. So we've got one more hose, so it's just 2 nuts on the top and 2 bolts underneath. So I can just slide it off. And there's a gasket underneath here. Try to catch that with my hand if that comes off. Okay, so we're trying to get this hose off over here. We can go ahead and take this top one off. That'll help us a little bit. Right here. Okay, so gasket right here. Have to replace that. And there should be one right here. I don't see it. I don't know if it was there. Somebody put one back on, put this back on without putting a gasket, or possibly it fell off. I didn't see it fall. Okay, so yeah, here's what we were doing. So yeah, there's supposed to be a gasket right here. There's those 10 millimeter bolts underneath. Should be a gasket right there. And there's a gasket right here. You saw that. And then the 2 nuts right here. And the hose. And then the top hose right here. We removed that. All right, we're looking at the EGR valve, and it doesn't seem that dirty. One way we're going to test it is, you can see the diaphragm here. You can push that in. And you can feel air coming through here. To test and see if it holds and it's not leaking, what we're going to do is just push it in and I'm going to put my finger over vacuum little nozzle there where the hose would go, and I'm just going to hold it over there. You can see it's holding. If I let my finger off, it comes back. Let's try it again. So I think the diaphragm's still good. So what we're going to do is I'm going to try to find some cleaner and spray into the exhaust part of it, and also through here, and try to clean. I don't know if you can see like that. But we're going to try to clean that with some kind of carburetor cleaner or maybe brake cleaner. When I do that, I'm also going to cover up this part of it because you can see that there's rubber there. So I'm going to take like a glove or something, rubber glove, and just try to cover that. Then we're just going to spray it in here and in here, let it soak for a while. Okay, watch your eyes. So the EGR valve is much cleaner now, and I've cleaned and degreased the surfaces here for the new gaskets. Wasn't able to get an exhaust gasket, so I'm going to have to make one of those. Was able to buy a new one for the intake here. Cleaned up surfaces here. I don't know if you can see the intake or not, probably not, but you can see the exhaust there. So those surfaces are clean. I'm going to use this Permatex gasket maker here. So what I'll be doing is just smearing about a 1/16 of an inch around here, around the bolt holes, and around where the gasket would be at, and then put it back on before that silicone gets hard. I'll hand tighten it according to instructions, and then let it completely cure all the way. I think it should take about an hour to do that, and then go ahead and tighten it the rest of the way down. Then I got a $1.99 gasket for the intake, a new one right there. So that's pretty much it for taking off EGR valve off a Toyota Camry 4-cylinder.